Um, Speaking of U.S. Russia diplomatic talks, Trump extended the Biden era sanctions on Russia. His reasoning was that Russia continues to pose a threat to free elections and democratic institutions in the U.S., along with cyber attacks against the United States, repression of dissidents and journalists in Russia, undermining U.S. interests in regions that are critical to U.S. national security, and other violations of international law. So you can tell
Huh.
this is a document that comes out of the State Department.
Yeah. There's no way
Yeah.
that Donald Trump even knows what any of that stuff means.
No, they just told him it would look bad if he didn't extend them while they were in the middle of negotiations, because then he wouldn't be able to rescind them later. And then the document released by the State Department basically just copied and pasted Biden era language.
Yeah.
That's
So it
what
could
I would
look,
do too if I was them, honestly.
yeah,
Write a whole new document? Ugh. You know,
boring.
fuck that. Boring. Who wants to spend time thinking about all that nonsense? Other than the discussions about what's going on in Ukraine, Russia and the United States seem to be making progress elsewhere, discussing staffing, visa issues, financial arrangements for reopening embassies and stuff like that, and also for Russia is offering to help with the talks in Iran and to guarantee that Iran doesn't enrich uranium above a certain percent and stuff like that. Stuff that we've already talked about.
It's still ongoing. Oh, just we started by saying the most important news in the world, and that's technically not true. We should just say that Vere Franciscus mortus est, and God rest his soul, and I have a lot of faith and a lot of hope in the next pope.
Right. Yes. Pope Francis has passed away the night after Easter. So early in the morning on Monday, he passed away. And everyone's making jokes about how it's J.D. Vance's fault, and I don't find those to be particularly interesting or funny. And there are several potential candidates for Pope. One, the front runner, it seems to be Cardinal Tagle from the Philippines. I think that's how
Oh
you say
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
doubt it's Tagle. I know a guy
probably not.
whose last name is Tagle, and he's Irish. He's very pale and has red hair, but it's probably not the same last name. But they call him the Asian Francis because he is. I mean, he's one of Francis's picks to the College of Cardinals, but Francis stacked the College of Cardinals with his people, so it's about 80%. I was going to say Francisites or Franciscans, but that's already a thing. But anyway, that it's 80% people that are simpatico.
Francist.
Francists. Oh
French. Oh no.
no, Frankish.
I find the discourse around this in lots of the regular media to be trying to have this take in this perspective on very secular political grounds, and I just don't think that it makes sense. Like when they talk about conservatives versus progressives, they're just talking about variations of what kind of emphasis a cardinal is likely to place on social doctrine,
Right.
with some exceptions.
Even the conservatives, even the people that listed with among the frontrunners as conservatives, are still as anti-capitalist as Pope Francis.
Right, like one of the conservative frontrunners that is a lot of Catholic traditionalists are looking at he's from Africa. He's from, I think, from Ghana, and is maybe less likely to be publicly kind-hearted in his spoken statements about gay Catholics, but
Right.
otherwise has a very what I think would rightly be called a social justice orientation. Talks about the church as being a voice for the oppressed and taking care of the poor. It's like, okay, fine, that's your conservative,
Yeah. Well, I think that it's all based around what kind of language they would use to talk about things.
I mean, that's also true when it comes to when they're talking about politics as well.
Right.
They're talking about, who's the next UK prime minister is, how big they smile.
Right. Well, Pope Francis took some hits because he used what he used a word that the English press translates as faggotry. But
Oh
it's an
yeah,
Italian word, so I don't know what. I mean, I guess the translation is probably accurate, but he's talking about priests having sex with each other, and how this has become like a problem in
which
the.
is frowned upon.
Yeah, it's frowned upon them having sex with women as well, but it's
Yeah,
just that they often, have more access to one another. Anyway,
yeah. I don't really have much more to say about that. I just feel like it's worth
yeah,
acknowledging. You know?
right. So, moving on to EU and Russia relations. EU, they're going to get him this time, Jason. They're going to get him. They're going to, with a 17th sanctions package. This time, man, I don't know how many more this is going to leverage on Russia. I guess they have like something like 20,000 sanctions on them right now. But man, the
That's
17th one
almost
is,
enough. Yeah.
it's going to do it. The new measures will not, however, include a ban on liquefied natural gas imports
Oh,
because, as it turns out, they need that stuff.
well, yeah. So what is going to be sanctioned then?
Goods, technology, and services.
Like a Russian Eurovision entries?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the tariff exceptions that Donald Trump announced for
Oh,
China,
right.
like
Yeah.
uh, electronics, for example. Like, okay,
Yeah.
good, don't worry, we'll we'll get them. Except for we just won't touch electronics. 'Cause we
Yeah.
don't,
Well, no one uses electronics anyway.
yeah, especially
Yeah.
not Chinese ones.
You're right. So Estonian Prime Minister, she's not the Prime Minister. Sorry. The
War minister.
Kaya Kallas.
Yeah.
She's not the War Minister or the Prime Minister. She's
Oh, it's just a warmonger.
yes, the warmonger.
Ah, I see.
She is the Foreign Minister of the EU, but she's an Estonian, and she's the Foreign Minister of the EU. Has warned EU member states and candidates that attending Moscow's May 9th Victory Day parade could lead to punitive measures. Of course, she's targeting Slovakia, Serbia, and Turkey, whose leaders have all expressed intention to participate.
Yeah, man, you can't be like an Eastern European country going to Russia to commemorate Soviet victory over Nazis. The Estonians don't like it.
Yeah, that's a dark day in Estonian history. The day that the Soviets came in and killed the Nazis. They're so sad about it that they erected a monument to the Nazis in their capital city.
Yeah, I wish that was a
Yeah,
joke.
fuck Estonia, man.
Yeah, I'm not actually criticizing Estonian people, but Estonia as a country is about as populated as a mid-sized city in the United States.
I was about to say it's smaller than Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Estonia also is an ethno state, apparently.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Remember we talked about the laws that they passed barring people who don't have blood ties to Estonia from voting, mostly aimed at Russian speakers.
yeah, but just because they have blood ties laws and monuments to the SS, and they're discouraging their neighbors from attending the Victory Day, which is to say the celebration of the victory over Hitler, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. That's all just because because Putin is
Freedom.
bad. Yeah, because freedom.
Yeah, it's because freedom and Putin bad. So Slovakia is already an EU member state, and Robert Fico said that Kaja Kallas can eat shit and he's going anyway. There's nothing they can do about it. Like, I don't know much about Fico's politics. I know he's gotten criticism from the left for being critical of immigration in the EU.
I have also I've heard a lot of criticisms of him being just corrupt.
Oh, I mean, that's possible. He is the prime minister of a former Eastern Bloc state.
Well, you could just say he is in a government.
He is in a government, yes.
He's not Cuban, and he's in a government. That means he is corrupt.
So, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić plans to go to the Victory Day parade anyway, also, which, according to Kaja Kallas, puts Serbia's candidacy into the EU in jeopardy. But, like, at this point, who the fuck wants to be part of the EU? The EU is, like, floundering. If Serbia joined the EU, then they wouldn't be able to get the gas that they were getting through Turk Stream pipeline from Russia, which would collapse their economy like the rest of the EU.
Well, I think that the British do.
The British do, again, yes, that's true. But I don't think that they rely as heavily on Russian gas as the rest of Europe does.